be like 2 or 5:33, and then we'll get formally started then. So yeah. Just as a reminder though, for our boot camp, since we are doing it completely virtually, just to increase engagement, we do ask that all of you guys to turn your camera on for attendance purposes. If you don't have your camera on, unless there's maybe a special circumstance, you will be counted absent. So try to make sure to have your cameras on.
Just so I know, can you guys raise your hand if you guys are rookie members or like first year on design at least? Okay, thanks.
Okay guys, so I think we'll just go ahead and get started anyway. And okay, so I guess for the rest of you who don't have your cameras on, you should go ahead and try to get your cameras on, because we will be using those for attendance, and we'd hate to only have like 3 people here. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. I guess we'll start with introductions, because some of you guys joined a little bit later. So I'll say hi again, I'm Sonnet. I'm one of your co-leads for engineering design, and you'll be seeing a lot of me this year. I'm a rising junior from Troy High School. So, Drew.
Hi guys, I'm the other design strategy co-lead. So me and Sonny will be leading this team together. Yeah.
Hi guys, my name's Kush. I'm the assistant design and strategy lead for this year, and I'm an incoming sophomore.
So let me go ahead and get our slideshow started. Okay. Oh. Wait, I think I shared the wrong screen there. Okay. So, this is so welcome to Design Bloom Camp. We're really happy that you decided to join us. And because a lot of you guys weren't there, maybe when we did the in-person, boot camp start off, just the past week, I think we should start off maybe doing introductions a little bit later. But just to start off, we put together this quick slideshow to give you some background on our subgroup and what it does if you're not familiar with it. So, in terms of materials, for engineering design, we do require that you have a laptop that's maybe on the better side in terms of operating system. In terms of hardware, we recommend a 64-bit Windows 10. So since we're using Autodesk Inventor, MacBooks really don't work, and Linuxes, you can't use those either. So you sort of have to have a 64-bit Windows 10. The processor, we'd like to be maybe on the newer side. Like an i7 is generally what's recommended. And for memory, we definitely need at least 16 gigabytes of RAM. And for CADing, most of you guys probably already have a mouse, but for CAD, mouse really is extremely essential. It's very hard to navigate Autodesk Inventor, which is the software that we're going to be using if you don't have a mouse. And it doesn't have to be fancy, but you just really can't be using your keypad. So for this,
sorry to interrupt, John, too here. On the right side of your screen, yeah, there was a gray box. I think you just minimized it because otherwise it shows a gray box on our on the screen you're sharing.
Yeah, I accidentally clicked out of it.
Okay.
So for software, I think Mr. Two already sent out the details for this, but you do need to have the newest version of Autodesk Inventor downloaded. The directions were sent out earlier, so if you guys, were all of you guys able to download that successfully?
Can you guys raise your hand if you have that software?
Okay, yeah. I can't see the Microsoft Teams window right now because I'm sharing, but if you have any questions, you can always reach out to one of us, and we'd be happy to chat with you and get that worked out. Okay. So now for icebreakers. Since we're going to be working together for a whole season and there's not too many of us, we're gonna try to get to know each other. So the leads already just introduce themselves, but we'd like to go around and introduce your name, grade, school, even though probably most of us are very high, your favorite food, and maybe one interesting fact about you if you have anything. So name, grade, school, favorite food, and one interesting fact. And again, try to make sure that you have your camera on. So I'm going to stop screen sharing so I can see. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for a second. And yeah, does anybody want to start? Mahima, you can go ahead and get started.
So my name is Mahima. I am 15 years old. I'm going to be a sophomore next year. My favorite food is probably lasagna. And an interesting fact about me is that I did FTC for 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. I think honestly, I'm just going to go down the list that I have on my side. So Arjun, do you want to go next? And maybe turn your camera on too.
My name is Arjun. I'm 13 years old. I'm going to Troy High. My favorite food is maybe pizza, and I went up north this year.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So Bakir, do you want to get your camera on and share something about yourself?
I can't get my camera on because it says video sharing is disabled by administrator. I can get it fixed by tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
And what was it? My name is Bakir Demirovich. I'm 13 years old. I'm going to be a freshman next year. My favorite food is sushi, and I've been in robotics 4 years.
Okay. Okay. Jeffrey, do you want to go next?
Uh, well, my name is Jeffrey. I'm 15, pretty sure. And then I'm going to be an upcoming sophomore. What else do I have to know? What else do I have to talk about? Favorite food, so fried rice. And one interesting fact is that my memory is really, really bad. It's absolutely atrocious.
That's cool. And Manav, do you want to go next?
Here. My name's Manav. I'm 14. I'm gonna be a freshman, and my favorite food's pasta probably. And an interesting fact is that I did FTC for 3 years.
Cool. Raga, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I was in the general team meeting, but if you guys didn't hear or weren't there, I'm Raga. I'm the president of the team this year. I'm going to be a senior at Athens. I'm 17 years old. My favorite food is ice cream, I guess. And my favorite TV show that's currently airing is meant for 7-year-olds.
That's fun. Does Sanjin want to go next?
Hi, my name is Sunshine, and I'm an upcoming freshman, and I like to draw.
That's cool. Ashmit?
Hey, my name is Ashmit. I'm 14 years old and incoming sophomore. My favorite food is pizza.
Good choice. I think my favorite food is pizza too. Arnav, do you want to go next?
Hi, my name is Arnav. I'm going to be a freshman next year and I'm 13. My favorite food is chicken, and an interesting fact is that I have a brother who's 5 years old.
Srivatsov, do you want to go next?
Hey guys, my name is Srivatsov. I'm going to be a junior this year. My favorite food is anything that's edible. And my interesting fact is I'm in business and I got bored, so I joined this meeting.
Cool. Vivian, do you want to go?
Hello, my name is Vivon. I'm gonna be a freshman next year and I'm 14. My favorite food is probably sushi. An interesting fact is that I've been in FTC for 3 years.
Cool. Okay, so let me get my slideshows up again.
Vivon, we're probably gonna be calling you Vivian from now on because that's what Sana thinks her name is. But okay.
Yeah, I just got it wrong once. It won't happen again. Don't worry. I'm usually better with names. Okay. So just giving you guys a little bit of context for those of you who weren't on FTC or robotics, or maybe even you were. CAD is maybe a word that you haven't heard before, and CAD stands for Computer Aided Design. So Computer Aided Design, it is what it sounds like, right? So we're using computers to help in the design process, and it helps in a lot of different ways. The CAD software that we'll be using is Autodesk Inventor, and what it lets us do is it allows us to build a complete model that's very, very detailed online on a computer before we actually make it in real life, because it allows us to visualize a lot of details and iterate through a lot of ideas that maybe if we had chosen to work with them in real life would have taken a lot more time and resources to make. So it helps speed up the design process, and it's also really great for communicating ideas and getting through preliminary prototypes. It allows us to lay the schematics of what will happen when we transition to manufacturing and bringing it to life in the real world. So why do we use CAD? Because for a lot of people who maybe have had building experience so far, we usually don't use CAD when we're constructing things. But the reason that we choose to use CAD is because building an FRC robot, it's huge, and it's really resource intensive in terms of time and money when we're actually putting together in real life. And as CAD softwares allow us to visualize and model designs, and simulate the designs to work out the problems and redesign it if necessary, if certain things aren't lining up before we do it in the real world. In the long run, it really saves a lot of time. And it also can equip us with a lot of really cool and useful technical skills that are really useful in the future. Again, CAD software is also really good at creating visuals that we can share maybe with other team members who don't know exactly what we're talking about, because sometimes it's hard to share our ideas when you don't have something in front of you to look at. And also, it's really good when we're sharing with sponsors or sharing with parents or mentors, because it really allows everyone to see exactly what we're talking about, no matter your technical background. So, since we're working on CAD across so many people, we have to be able to have an effective way to share our designs and make sure that everyone's is completely synced up. So the way that we do that is through GrabCAD, and you see this link on the screen right now. Everyone should go ahead and go to GrabCAD and register and make an account right now. So after we collect all of your emails when we're doing our attendance, we will go ahead and invite you guys to a workspace where we can start sharing files, and you guys can start getting familiarized with what GrabCAD is and how we use it. So GrabCAD just lets us all have the most up-to-date CAD across everyone's devices. And we'll be talking about this more later, especially during the build season, because we will be using this a lot. For homework, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. And just to make sure you guys are all engaged, we will be doing homework daily, and we will be requiring that you guys all submit that, just to make sure. And Coach, I just wanted to briefly check on attendance. How's that going?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, yeah. And then everyone, just a reminder, for those of you guys who turned your camera on and then turned your camera back off, we really do want everyone's cameras to be on for engagement, because since everything is online, besides just seeing who turns in homework, your cameras are sort of how we check in to see who's really there the whole time. Okay. So Drew can go ahead and take it away for our phase 2. Well, today we'll just be going over some pretty simple sketches and getting you guys all started with Inventor and familiarizing you guys with it.
Yeah, so I want to just like walk you guys through the software, like the basic concepts of it. But can I get a show of hands? Like this is a question for rookies, especially if you guys have the software. I know Mr. Two sent out the email with the how to download it and everything, but I don't want to walk through it if no one actually has it. So can I get a show of hands if you're a rookie member and you have the software? So I'm looking at like I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but like Bakir, Manav, Ashmit, Arnav, Vaughn, you guys have the software?
For my thing, I just have to verify because last year so I did some stuff with it and then for my birthday, like weirdly, so I have to like give an ID. So I'm working on that still.
Okay. What about the rest of you? Arnav, do you have it downloaded?
I don't have it downloaded yet.
Yeah, Ashmit, do you raise your hand?
Yeah, I have it.
You have it? Okay. Anyone else? I don't think it would be like a point to continue if no one really has it downloaded. Okay.
Okay, wait, how about we do this? If you guys don't have it downloaded, please raise your hand, like right now, so that Dirk can walk you guys through it.
Okay. Okay, cool. I'm gonna send you guys a slideshow. It kind of like walks you through how to download it. So I'll be following that right now. If you want, you can pull it up on the side and follow along with me.
Just to sign up, returning people. The way that Autodesk has it now is a little bit different than it used to be. Instead of the 3-year license, they made it a 1 year. So every single year after, you're just going to have to continually, renew.
Yeah. Okay, if you guys don't have that, have it downloaded, I sent a link. So that's like a PDF, a PowerPoint, that like runs through how to download it. So I'll just be going through it. Or Sonny, do you have that too, right? That PowerPoint
The PowerPoint?
on how to download it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I guess we'll spend the first day going through this, but it shouldn't take too long. Should I share my screen or is it okay if everyone already has it?
I think it's best if you want to share your screen.
Okay.
The process is really quick and intuitive though, guys. So you guys we'll probably be able to get it done in 20 minutes. The one thing that you guys do need is they'll probably make you upload a picture of your student ID, so make sure to have one of those ready. Yeah. So if everyone wants to go ahead and go grab their student IDs, and then we can walk through everything together.
Okay. Sonny, you can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's pretty simple. So just search up Autodesk Inventor Educational License on your just a Google search bar. And there will be a link that comes out. It says you want to look at the student one especially, so student and education software. So how it works is this software is free for 1 year if you're using it for educational purposes as a student, right? So because we don't want to pay for it if you're only going to have it for a year, we get the student version for it, which is essentially the same. I'll like go at it at a normal pace. If somebody is like falling behind, just raise your hand and sound. You can tell me if I have to slow down.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you click that link, it'll take you to a page like this. If you guys see over here at the bottom, there's like a little sign in option. So you guys have an Autodesk account? If you guys don't, you have to make that separately.
Yeah.
So click sign in, and then instead of signing in, there will be like create an account option at the bottom somewhere. Yeah. I'll give you guys a minute.
While we're doing this, can any veterans? Oh, also there's an echo, so can everyone like mute really quick?
I think it's me.
Okay. Can all the veterans that are in this meeting right now, so everyone that's not a rookie and now the lead, raise your hand really quick? Okay. So Akul and I just wanted to have any veterans that like have the software downloaded and ready to go. Just watch FRC team 973's ramp elevator video. So I can like send the link to that in the chat right now. And also I don't know if you guys like design leads. I don't know if you guys want to do this at the end of the meeting or like after you guys download the software. But I just want to remind you guys to make sure that everyone fills out the like form with like the emails and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do that at the end. And with the veterans, do you want to like for the future, because they'll be working on this project like separately and just asking us questions, like create a Slack channel on the new Slack workspace with just like the design leads, you guys, and the veterans?
I think Akul and I were gonna just not go again, but Akul and I were gonna ask to tonight to like make another meeting for the veterans so that they could like work independently.
Okay.
But we'll make sure to have that for tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not sure if that's enough time, but you guys raise your hand if you don't have an account on this yet on Autodesk. Sana, I can't really see the hands. Can you tell me if somebody?
Yeah, no. Oh, wait,
Okay,
one
so
person
everyone.
just raised their hand. One person just raised their hand.
Okay. I'll like walk you guys through it, and like if you have any questions, just like email us. We'll put our emails in. But if you guys can't follow along, like you can do this on by yourselves as well. I just wanted to like walk you through right now, just to make sure that you guys know what to do. Yeah. So once you sign in, you'll see these like different products that Autodesk has that you can download. And if you just search up Inventor or you scroll down a couple, you'll see this product called Inventor Professional. That's the one we're going to download. So you can just click Get Started up there. There are like different programs that Inventor has, like CAM and HSM and stuff. But right now we're just going to stick with the basics and download Inventor Professional. Right. So once you click that, you like sign in. That's like if you don't have an account, this is where you create it. So to okay, yeah, I guess this walks you through it. So this will, if you're creating a new account, this is how it will look like. It's pretty standard information. If you guys need any help, just like shoot us an email, or just like speak up right now if you're doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna go past this, and then you have to verify with the email address you put in. Okay, so once you're logged in, and once you've selected your product, you can just like click Get Started. Sonny, can you call on someone specific to see where they're at? Sonny. Here. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
No, we can hear you.
Let's see. Arjun, you are you like following along with us?
Yeah, I'm on like the place where it says Get Started.
Started? Okay, cool. Ashwin, you already had it. Arnav, how are you?
I'm also at the place where it says Get Started.
Okay, cool. Anyone who's not there yet? Okay, sounds good. Okay, so once you click Get Started, you have to fill out all this information. This is just to like make sure that you're like you're actually a student. So they'll like confirm like where you go to school, and this is where you need your student ID that Sonny was talking about. There are like a couple different things that work over here. Your school transcript, a school issued like confirmation letter, which I don't really know what it is, but the most common one that everyone should have is a school ID issued by Troy High. If you don't, Sonny, do you remember what the new freshmen did last year? Because they had like middle school ID.
Yeah, so I think what they did was they just used their, I think the whole said there was something in Power Schools you can use, but transcripts work too, and those are pretty good.
But I'm not sure like if everyone has a transcript on them. And um, so if you guys log into Power Schools, they do have like a printable ID badge, so you can just like download that as a PDF, and then where it says to like drag documents here, you can place it there. So I'll give you guys a moment to do that. If you don't have, yeah, what's up
Yeah, I already tried doing that earlier today.
with the Power
And-
School?
Yeah, the Power School digital
Okay.
ID.
What
And
happened?
the people said the verification, when I tried to get
Mhm.
verified, it said that it didn't include a date within the school term. So it wasn't verified. So
Are you a freshman right now?
yeah, a freshman.
Do you have like a printed school transcript?
I don't think I do. I can ask, but I'm not sure if I do.
Okay, because I know that the counselors and have all this information, but there's nothing like really on hand. Anyone else like who got through this hard yet? Okay, that'll be an issue we have to look at. Vivon, you were saying you had trouble with this. Do you have a like Troy High or Athens ID?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Just for the veterans, I don't know why it sent twice, but I sent all 3 of the YouTube links for Team 973's Cascade Elevator. So just make sure you watch those.
Okay. Can Sana, do you know if Power Schools has a school transcript on there too? That they could.
Yeah, they do. So,
Yeah.
wait, let me see if I can just share my screen.
Here, let me see.
No. But basically, if you log into Power Schools, there's like a navigation bar on the side, and on that side navigation bar, there's like a little tab that says Digital ID Badge, and you can just download it and upload it. And that Digital ID Badge, it doesn't have a date or anything. It's just your profile picture and then your like name and school. So you can try that.
Yeah, look here. Oh, is that how you pronounce it? Your name?
Yeah, that is.
Okay. Do you want to try that again? Just like downloading that ID badge from the Power Schools.
Yeah, I'll try it again.
Okay.
Could you please repeat where you go from the navigation bar again?
The navigate. You have to go to your Power Schools. Do you know how to log into Power Schools?
Yeah, I'm already in.
And on the side, there's like this little tab that says Digital ID Badge, just under school information.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And then all of you guys have Windows, right? Nobody has a Mac or a Linux.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have Windows 11 64-bit, but I think most Windows 10 things work with Windows 11.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Windows is okay. If you make sure like if you this is like a high-end laptop. If you guys were at the open house, John and Mr. Two mentioned it, but I don't want you guys to like download it if it's a fairly old laptop because that would potentially crash it. So if you guys don't know how to like check the RAM or memory, you can ask us. But I think that was also included, so you guys should be good.
Yeah, most computers are probably fine, but definitely not something like a Chromebook or anything like that, and not anything older. And the verification process, once you finish it, it could take a while to complete. So sometimes you just have to give it a little bit of time.
Okay, I only called in a couple of students last time. How's everyone else doing? Manav, how are you doing?
Good.
Are you following along? Did you
Yeah.
you have the ID and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Ron, Arnav, Ashmedru, Sangyong, is that how you pronounce it?
It's pronounced Sunjin.
Sanjin, okay, how are you doing?
Uh, I uploaded everything and I'm pressing submit, but it's not going through.
Okay, try reloading it. You might have to like upload it again, but like you should get like a verification email once it uploads.
Yeah, sometimes it'll reject some of them, but usually if you reload or if you like sign out and sign back in, the screen will change and it'll say like it's in the process of going through.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, when I click on the Get Started button, it just shows me a white screen.
Same.
Oh, really? Okay, let's see. Do you guys try reloading it?
Yeah, it just does the same thing again.
Okay, so instead of doing that, like X out of the page, log in through your account, and instead of like getting hitting, oh, you can get started like right under the inventor.
Yeah, like when you click Get Started on any enter, it just shows a white screen instead of like the verification thing.
Oh, interesting. Okay. No, so the verification thing is when you're. Oh wait, no, you're right. You're right. Okay, let's see. Okay, I am on Autodesk right now. It's not really doing that for me. Do you guys want to try logging in and logging out and logging out and logging in again?
Yeah, I'll try that.
Okay. Okay, so the verification process can be a hassle sometimes. And because we only have like 5 days and like the fifth day being like the test, so we only have like 4 days to cover material. Um, it would be beneficial if you guys can like get it done by the end of today. So even after the meeting ends, if you guys have any trouble, please like shoot us an email and try to figure this out today. Anyone get past the verification process?
You guys can like just
You want to say that again? I don't think we heard you.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, so I would just want to get like a status update. Can you raise your hand again if you're like currently waiting for the verification thing to come through? Okay, so just Sanjin. Everyone else is like either done or just hasn't started it yet.
Now I'm getting white screened every single time I try to click the get started.
Have you
Yeah,
tried?
same.
So you tried signing out and signing back in?
Yeah, and I tried doing a different browser. I think it might be a server issue or something.
Yeah, that might be bad.
Yeah,
I
I don't
guess
think it's on your end, but I don't think there's much you can do about it like right now. Ashmit, you said you downloaded it, right? Are you a freshman?
Oh no, I'm a sophomore, but yeah, I downloaded it from scratch.
So you had that ID though, right?
Yeah, I had my ID, but I think shouldn't it work even with your middle school ID, or does that not work?
you need to have, because you're signing yourself in as a Troy High student.
Oh,
You need
okay.
to
Yeah, I don't know. So when I was doing it at start, like I saved it, and so it didn't work the first time. So I just took a screenshot the second time, and that worked.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, I think the only problem is that that white screen thing's happening, but because a lot of these guys are
Yeah, it
freshmen,
might be because they're new.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think just like for time constraints, Drew, you can probably go ahead and get started. And you guys can just sort of watch the first couple of times. Because it's not super complicated stuff, but we do need to show you how to just navigate Inventor once you get it. And then afterwards, you guys can just probably go over the coding by yourself again and then see with that.
Yeah. Okay. I won't cover too much. Like I'll like go over the basics just so like when you have that software, you just know what to do. We can review it quickly tomorrow before like in the beginning of the meeting. Here, let me just open them out, I guess. Okay, now my inventor is giving me trouble. 1 second. Okay, so my 2022 is really not working right now. So this is 2021. Sonnet, you have the 2022 downloaded, right? Is there like a difference? Like a major difference?
No, they're basically the same. You can just go
Okay.
ahead.
So like the basic idea will be the same. There might be a couple details here and there which will be off, but you will get the general idea. Okay. So when you open up the software, this is the screen you'll get, right? At the top you have like almost any software will have this type of like file button where you can start a new, open new, and if you're working on a current one, you can save it, give it a name, export it, things like that. When we start off, how we start CADing is we create a 2D sketch and we make it into a 3D model. So that becomes a part. And then you can assemble multiple parts into a bigger contraption, which in assembly, right? So if you look at a FRC robot, it's made of um, smaller parts all put together, right? So those parts you create in part and then you assemble them in assembly, as the name says. So to start over here, there's like on the top left, there's like a new column, right? So you have part and assembly. We really won't be looking at drawing or presentation, so we'll just focus on the first two. And then over here, once you start CADing, things like that, you'll have your recent files opened up here and like a little preview will show with whatever part you're working on. And then you can like organize them by recently opened, a modified name, location, whatever, and then show specific ones. So like I only want to look at assemblies, I only want to look at parts. You can turn them on and off and everything. So we'll get started over here. So just double click on the part. Give it a second. Okay, and then once you double click on part, you will get to a screen like this, right? So there's like your like workspace here and all your different functions and operations on the top. On the left over here, you'll see like little model tab. It'll tell you all the components that are part of your model. So if I make a line, I mean, if I add a plane, the plane will go over here. If I make a new sketch, the sketch will go under here and things like that. So it'll tell you like in which order did you create things. So to start off on the top left, this is your main button over here, right? You this 2D start 2D sketch and you'll come up with 3 planes. So this is the XY plane, this is the YZ plane, and XZ plane. It doesn't really matter what plane you start off with. So you see how it's like highlighting, that means it's like asking you to select a plane. It doesn't really matter what plane you start off with. just for like orientation purposes, we just start off with XY plane, and coordinate system like a little grid will show up, right? This is like in algebra, you know, the little like 4 quadrants, the grid that shows up. It's similar to that without the lines. So we start off any part by making a 2D sketch, and then we either like extrude it or revolve it and make it into a 3D part, right? So if you guys look over here, these are your basic drawing mechanisms that you'll use to create 2D sketches. So this is like drawing on a computer. So first little function is line. So I select it, and you see how my cursor changes. So let me click escape. So now it's just a normal arrow. Moment I click the line, there's a little dot that appears, right? So I'll select the start point for the line over here at the origin, and the end point of the line. So if you guys see, there's like 2 little like input boxes. One gives you the length and one gives you the angle. So those are the 2 things that you need to kind of define a line. If you notice, the line is blue right now, okay? And let me give it a length of 1 inch. I'll hit tab and give it an angle of 45 degrees. So those are the 2 things that I need to kind of define the line. Now you see how it goes from blue to black. That kind of shows that it's static. Like there's nothing you can do now to move it except change these 2. Let's say I make another line over here and start it at the origin, but pick some arbitrary distance and angle. You see how it's still blue? That means like I can move it around. So obviously when you're creating drawings and stuff, you don't want anything to move around. You want it to be fixed, right? So to do that, you need to make sure you define everything. You need to figure out how you can go about it is if I see something blue, I'll move it around, see what's not defined, and kind of define it. So now I know that the length is not defined because of it. It's extending and shortening, right? So one of the main functions I use over here is dimension. Put the dimension over here. And now I can now there's another input box where I can select 1 inch. Make it like that. And you see how it's still blue is because the angle keeps changing. So now it's not extending or shortening, but the angle keeps changing. So let me hit dimension. And I want the angle from this line to this line. Oh, that's accelerated. Okay, hold on. You see how like I can change the angle over here. And one for like 180, sure. Now the line kind of, and I can just like edit the dimension and play along with it. It's going to be kind of hard to follow along if you guys don't have the software. So Ashman, how's it going? Do you understand what I'm doing here?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, so let me just like quickly recap so you guys don't forget when you do have the software. There's like you select this plane, right? So you're drawing on this plane, and your cursor will change when you have selected something. And you guys see how if I hover over the origin and turns green, that means it's like fixed on that point. So now it won't move from that point. And then you can either select the length and the angle over here, the input boxes. So let's say 3 inches, and then I can hit tab and change like the degree. You can do that to define it, or you can make some random line and then use this dimension function to define the length later on. So now I can make 3. And so these 2, like, so I want this to change this angle to like 130. Right, so 2 ways to go about like defining a line. So our end goal, whenever we're creating any sketch, is to have the whole sketch be black. If every line, every sphere, every arc is black, then you know that it's completely defined. You can also check at the bottom. If you guys see over here, it's just fully constrained, right? That means that any drawing that you've made over here is completely set, like nothing can move it. So that's how you want. So as long as it's fully defined, fully constrained over here, you should be fine. Now let's say I delete this dimension. So I select it and just click the delete button and select this one, delete button, right? So now you see how it's blue. And if you look at the bottom over here, it says dimensions needed. That means it's not completely constrained and you need to do something to make sure it is that way. So then I can add my little 130 degrees here. And then it says 1 dimension needed, so you want the length, because this can still extend in and out. So I'll define that as 3. Now at the bottom we'll say fully constrained. I hope that's clear. Yeah, if you guys get anything from today, is that your sketches have to end up as black. That means that it's fully constrained and nothing can. Okay, how are you guys doing on the verification process? Anyone? Fine, can you call someone?
Yeah, I think I following someone. So I know for veterans, you guys are already really familiar with this. So I hope that you guys are watching the videos in the background. But for some of the newer people, like I guess like for Arnav and Bakir, you guys yeah, have you guys finished downloading everything yet? Has that worked out for you guys, or you guys do you guys understand what's going on?
I'm still trying to figure out what's going on, but yeah, I understand what's going on the screen.
Okay, yeah.
I got mine installed, and I also understand what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is not anything too complicated. You just need to spend some time with it, right? So as long as you like get the general idea of it, you should be fine. So yeah, so we went over a line. So that's like the first kind of thing you can draw on the top bar, right? So, oh, here, let me go through these. Okay, so right now I'm holding my left button on the mouse. I forgot what it's called. And if I hold it and drag down, it's a red box. If I hold it and drag up, it's a green box, right? So drag red box, drag green box, right? So the difference between that is like, let's say I want to select something. So you guys see how these are kind of like not overlapping, but they're really close together, right? But I only want to select the this line. So I'll go over here and drag down. And you see how only the left side is selected is because when anything is under the red box, it has to be completely underneath it to be selected, right? So because the left line is completely underneath the red box, it will be selected. But because only like part of the right line is selected, it's not going to be selected. So then contrary to that, like if I have a green box, you guys see how the left line isn't fully covered by the green box, right? But it'll still be selected because some portion of it is touching the green box. So if you guys want to exclude something and only select a singular part, you kind of use red. If you want to select, if you only want to like, okay, so the purpose of it like will come based on the situation, but just know that the red box will only select things if it's completely surrounding your sketch, and the red box and the green box will select your sketch even if it's just touching it. Like that. Okay. So we'll delete this. So that was line, right? So then, okay, we'll get to these later. There's more advanced. So the next part is like circle. Okay, so I select that. You see how my cursor changes? I'll hover over the origin so it's green, so I know it's like selected there, and click on it, right? So that's the center of the circle. And now if I can extend in and out, you will kind of be able to change the diameter. So 2 ways to do this again. You can type it into the input box, 3 inches, and set it as a diameter. Or if I go over here, select the origin, extend out, I can pick some random size, come to dimension over here, select the circle, and set it in later. Anything works, right? So as long as you make sure to define that sketch, it doesn't matter when you do it. Yeah, so that's basically it for circles. Something else I wanted to cover. Hold on. So let's say okay. Another thing. So you see how when I say that it's like highlighted. Oh, why is it not? Okay, that's kind of awkward. I deleted the origin point. So if you guys see, there's like a little like orange dot here, right? So that's kind of like fixed on the origin. So whenever the green is kind of highlighted here and you select that, you know your circle is going to be fixed. Like it's like fixated on that point. So even though the circle is blue and I try to move it, it's only going to change the diameter because that's not defined. It's not going to change the position because you see how the dot is black actually, so the dot's not going to move, but the dimension will move. Also, you can see like how many things are undefined if you look over here at the bottom. There's one dimension needed, so only one thing is missing here, which in this case would be the diameter. Yeah. So it shouldn't be too difficult, right? Yeah, so there's like different drop-down options. We'll go through those later. Then arc. Let's go through like center arc first, okay? So arc is just like a segment of a circle, right? So I don't know how to do that. Okay. So center arc, I select that origin right there. And the reason this circle that's appearing over here is kind of dashed is because we're gonna trace how much of the circle we need. We are not gonna need the full circle, right? So I'll start my arc over here, and let's say I only want about this much. So I can stop it, okay? This kind of gives you how much of the arc you need. And again, there's like 3 dimensions needed. So let's figure out what we need, okay? So let's hit dimension. So one, we know that we don't know the diameter of this. So let's say this is giving us the radius. So let's say I want the radius to be 1 inch. Okay, that's kind of defined. It'll look back black, but you have to make sure at the bottom you see that 2 dimensions are needed. So let's see. You see how I can like change the arc length, like how much of the circle I'm actually tracing out. So we can fix that by actually think about it. Now it'll be much easier if when I'm creating that arc. You guys see how there's like 2 things needed over here. So let's say I want instead of just selecting a random value here, I'll set that my radius, I want that to be 1 and hit tab. And I want it to trace about 60 degrees of my circle. So that's the start point, 60 degrees. You guys see how this is 60 degrees? And I want my end point to be over here. So let's say 120. So it kind of needs 3 things, okay? That's what we said in the beginning, right? You need your starting degree, so it's going to start at 60 degrees. It's going to end at 120 degrees, and it's going to have a radius of 1. So basically, whenever you're drawing something, there's a set amount of dimensions that's needed to make it black, to make it fixed. For a line, you needed the length of the line and the angle from the x-axis. For the circle, you needed the diameter and like make sure that it's fixated on a certain point. And for the arc, you need the radius, the starting angle, and the ending angle. So just watch out at the bottom over here if it's fully constrained or how many dimensions are needed to make sure that your final drawing has to be black. That's the one thing you guys need to know. Okay.
Wait,
yeah.
So when I click on the arc, sorry, there's an echo. They give me an option for 3-point, tangent, and center point. Which one did you choose?
So I did center point. So
okay.
If you guys see over here, so there's like multiple arcs that you can use, right? The first one, it says like it kind of like tells you how it looks, right? So like if you look at over here, you're gonna select a center point. You're gonna select a start point and then an end point. So that's how I made that arc. There's also other ways where you can do a 3-point arc. You use these for different circumstances, so you'll know when to use what, right? And we'll go through that later. But for a 3-point arc, you guys see how on that little like preview over there, it's selecting 3 points on the circumference of the arc. So whatever points that I select, the arc will be kind of made along those 3 points. See that? Over here. So it'll be made along you select the 2 endpoints first and then the center point, and that's how you create the arc. Arcs are generally not needed, but it's good to know what they do. So this is a little bit, it looks like a lot, but it's actually not. So we'll focus on the first 3 a little bit. Okay, so rectangle. You guys will be using rectangles a lot. So let's select rectangle over here. This is a 2-point rectangle. So you guys see how the blue points are the 2 corners. So I'll select the origin over here, and that's one of my corners, and my endpoint will be a second corner. You guys see how I didn't input any values into the input boxes, right? If I don't do that, you can select the dimension. Click the line that you want to dimension and say I want this to be 6 inches, and I want this to be 4 inches. Okay. So there's one annoying part about using Inventor is that the origin itself, you can actually delete you see that little yellow dot over there? You can actually delete it. Like I'll just like delete it right now. Okay, now every time I draw something over here, it's actually not fixated. Like it just like will not select the origin. You will have to create a point if you do that and like place it there, which is really annoying. That's why I keep going back. So make sure if you guys are deleting something, don't like delete the origin. Yeah, so I'll select the origin as one of my endpoints and my other endpoint, right? So you can either use dimension over here, select the line, say I want this to be 2 inches, and say I want this to be 1 inch. It's completely black, fully defined, right? Or while you're making the rectangle, don't select the second endpoint. Okay, instead of selecting what the second endpoint will be, you can actually just fill it into the input boxes. So 3 inches over here, tab, 2 inches over here, tab. So no need to make that second endpoint. A lot of this like learning will come through when you are exploring the software yourself. I just want to walk you through it so you know you're not like completely lost. Then there's like other types of rectangles. There's like 3-point rectangle. This is where you guys see how this is like horizontal rectangle. I can make using that 2-point rectangle. I can make like a vertical rectangle. This, but let's say I want to make something angled, and that's where the 3-point rectangle comes in. So I select 1 point, another point, and then the length of it. So now it's kind of an angled rectangle. Again, I can just select. Okay, here. Let's talk about this really quickly. Okay, so you see I click dimension, but you see how it's blue, right? So I want to define everything to make it black. So I'll click dimension and select the line over here. This dimension line that shows up, you see that there's like 2.426 is the dimension right now, but there's like a line that kind of defines it, right? I want that line to be parallel to my side. So because this is a horizontal dimension, I don't actually, the length of it's actually not 2.426. The horizontal length is 2.426. So to change that, I'll select the line again, and now it's 3.828. So you always want your dimension to be parallel to your side. If it's something else, you just have to click that selection again. So first show up as a horizontal dimension, right? But I don't want a horizontal one, I want a parallel one. So I click that line again, and there you have your parallel dimension. Then you can select whatever. And then you go on defining it. So I need to define 4 more things over here for it to be fully black. Okay. I don't want to cover too much because I feel like you guys won't be able to grasp everything if you're not following along with it. But how are we doing on that downloading process? Anyone get it yet? Get past the verification?
I got past it. I sent the installation file to Bakir, who can't get past the verification. For him, the website's broken. He said he got rejected, but then it's allowing him to do stuff that he wouldn't be able to do once he got rejected, but he still can't download the installation file.
Who are you talking about?
Bakir.
Oh, okay, cool. And how are you doing? What did you say? You got past it?
Yeah, I'm installing mine right now, and I sent the installation file to Bakir.
Okay, cool. How's everyone else doing?
Just a quick note though, I think even if you do send the installation file, you will have to log in afterwards. So, yeah, it might not work out, but I think we'll see. Sometimes it takes a while for them to process everything. In the Autodesk website, I just went on it today. It is not doing that well, so you know. Sometimes you have to give it a little time. And then you guys can always watch these recordings afterwards. There's also a lot of resources that are available online if you need to see those as well.
Sonny, do you think I should like keep continuing, but because I really, if not a lot of people are following along, I don't think there's a point to it.
You can probably like
I'll like walk
do like a
through.
snowman or something, and then we can call it a day. And then tomorrow, hopefully everyone. Yeah, you guys, since there's really only 4 days of CAD, try to get it like done as soon as possible. And then
Yeah, just like try to figure it out today. Worst case scenario, we'll like, try to help you tomorrow, but like we're trying to avoid that. But here I can make a snowman and show you guys. Okay. So yeah, we walked through like a couple features we can use, right? So that was all 2D, right? So let me. Damn, I forgot how to make a snowman, but we can start at the origin, okay?
wait, just clarification. For the snowman, I mean 2D snowman, because I don't think we're getting to 3D yet.
Oh, just 2D?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so snowman's like 3 circles, right? So I'll start off with like the head. Let's say like 3 inches. Okay, so like input it into the input box, click enter. So that's your first head. It's fully black. Over here is fully constrained, so we're good, right? Then second circle. So now I'll make the second circle somewhere else, okay? Let's say I want it to be 6 inches. But now because I don't have an origin to like fixate on, I need another way to make sure that this is not moving. I need to make sure that this doesn't, it's like fixated. It's not right. So what we'll do over here is line, okay? Click the center point over here. You see how it's like select green. Here, these are called constraints, right? So these will like add constraints to specific pieces of sketch so they don't move. And they're kind of different things. So over here, if you see these 2 parallel lines, if I select this and click 2 lines, they'll automatically be parallel. Like if you see the image before, like the before image, it's like 2 lines with different slopes. And the after, once you use this constraint, it has the same slope. This is a perpendicular one, so it'll make 2 things perpendicular. This is a horizontal one, it'll make a line horizontal. And this is a vertical one, right? So I want this circle to be right underneath over here. Yeah, this would be like part of the snowman, right? So you guys see how this constraint that came up immediately? So Inventor is like, it's like a growing program. So it'll understand that if you made this vertical on purpose, it's probably because you wanted it that way, right? So let's say I didn't want it that way. What I would do is click this vertical constraint over here and select this line. It'll automatically make it vertical. So we're almost done, right? So if you see the bottom, we have like 1 dimension needed to be constrained. So I want this circle to be tangent to this circle over here, right? So there's a constraint for that. So there's a tangent constraint. So I select that. I want this to be constrained to this. And now you see how everything is black. So now we're good. Yeah. So the reason I had to do all of that work is because I didn't have an origin over here to lock it in. So the first one, all I had to do was select dimension because it was already like locked into the origin. Over here, you have to do some extra work to make sure that it's locked in. Now you see how this line is actually not part of our sketch. The only purpose that line serves is to like make this directly underneath the other circle. Because this is not part of our actual drawing, I'll select this and over here you can make it construction. So now it's just like, it's a dash line, not an actual line. So we know that that's only there for reference purposes and not because it's actually part of the drawing. Now we can create another circle for the base of the snowman. So let's say this, I want it to be 9. So I'll select some random point Okay, sorry, I think my Wi-Fi's moving over here. Okay, here. So I just made this line vertical. All I have to do is tangent constraint, select the two circles, and now we're over. And because again, this line is actually not part of our drawing, I'll select it and make a construction. So it's dashed. So it's only there for reference purposes. And anything that's solid is actually part of a drawing. And anything that's dashed is only there for reference purposes. Yeah. So I know that I'm done with the drawing when everything is completely black and at the bottom it's like fully constrained. That's when you know your drawing is fine. This way, every time you want to change the drawing, you don't have to worry about like things messing up. So like, let's say I didn't have this line here, right? Okay, you see how it's not fully constrained. So right now, the drawing looks fine. But because it's not fully constrained, let's say I change one thing. Let's say I change this diameter. Okay, you see how I can still move this? Like if something happens, if I add something new to the sketch, it'll automatically just move, right? So like let's say, so you guys don't have to bother about what I'm doing right now, but if I say I want this to be like this, and then I say that I want this to be like this. You see how I added something new to the sketch, right? And I obviously want this to be directly underneath, but because it's not fully defined, it's not going to be directly underneath. So every time you add something new to the sketch, you are kind of risking that your sketch might change. So why take that risk, right? So you can make sure everything is defined before you move on and you add something new to the sketch. So for the people that don't have Inventor right now, key ideas you need to make sure are make sure that everything is defined when you're done with the sketch. Oh, one main thing I forgot to say was like, let's say I'm like in line right now, right? So like, let's say I make this one line. You see how like it tells me that I can make another line over here, but I don't want to make another line, right? So it's really important to like escape after you're done using a function, or else you'll always be in that function. So like, I'll make another line, and that's all I want, just one more line. Well, give me an option to make another line. So you have to click escape after you're done with every function. So those are the two main things you guys should like remember. That one, one, your sketch needs to be fully black and like fully constrained once you're done with it. And second, click escape after you're done with each function. So let's say I want to make a circle. I'm done with the circle, so I'll click escape. You see how like look at my cursor change. That's when you know you're like out of that function. Okay, so two main things. Yeah, that's all I want to cover right now because I don't want to go too far in because I'm going to have to go over this part again anyways for the people that don't have Inventor. Sorry, is there anything else you want to add?
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my email in the chat, and then Kush and Drew are also gonna put their emails in the chat. So, our emails are a great way you can reach us before you guys are put into the Slack channel. So if you guys have any questions, just send an email and then make sure that all three of us are on it. And we will try to get back to you as soon as possible regarding any issues that you guys may be having or anything, because since we only have 4 days, we will have to, make sure that everyone has a CAD thing going. And then for the written test on Friday, there's going to be a lot of knowledge that we'll be testing on. Also on stuff like Andy Mark. So Drew, if you want to go over that a little bit today, just show them what Andy Mark looks like. And then
Yeah. Okay, so anyone say something?
What?
Okay, nothing. So basically we'll have like a small quiz on Friday, right? To like go over like the main concepts you guys should have learned in boot camp. So we'll walk you through all of it. So anything on the test will be something we have covered during the class. So make sure you guys like pay attention. And it will be very theoretical. You guys don't have to actually do any CAD, but to like learn the theory, you need to have that software. So make sure like actually like try to get that software today. Like make sure like you have us. We'll be checking our emails pretty often. So make sure by the end of today you actually have it, so tomorrow you're not lagging behind. But yeah, I can go through any more. Okay. So when we're creating the actual robot, so this kind of goes into fabrication, right? So once you design a robot, you have an idea of what you're going to build. We either make our we have to buy some of these like standardized parts like gears and motors and things like that, right? And then we like CNC or machine some of the more custom parts, right? So we get these parts from suppliers such as Vexpro or Andy Mark or McMaster. So these are like different suppliers that give us these supplies to make the actual robot. So do you want me to go through any more specifically or like Vex robot, Vex and stuff too?
Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah, okay. So I think Vex is the one we use like more often. So Vex Robotics is like sort of deals with a lot of FRC things like that. So you see like the ad page on the first page is also like Infinite Recharge, like the game from 2 years ago. And if you guys can go explore it, but there will be like products and they're pretty well organized into things that we'll need to build a robot. So there's like VersaFrame, electronics, pneumatics, things like that. For example, so like we get gears from Vex Robotics sometimes, right? So like if I just search up gears, it'll give me options of either like gearboxes, gears, right? Or like the different types of gears we can use. So you see how like the center, they're a little bit different for each gear. So like it'll give you various options of what you need. We'll go through this in more detail sometime later. But let's say like I want to look at something in this like a hex board gear, right? You can look at the different sizes in this size chart. It'll give you like the different tooth count where like so teeth are these little protrusions outside. These are teeth, right? There's 18 teeth, 20 teeth, goes all the way up to like 84 teeth. There's like different material where it goes from steel to aluminum. And those are the two most common ones. And then these are like the product number. Did you guys download the Vex files? Sorry, do you know if they have those?
I don't think I'm ready to download it yet.
Okay. We can download that at some other time. But basically, even though fabrication use these like standardized parts to make the robot, right? We don't want to spend time creating this on CAD if we know it's standardized. So what Vex does is it will give you the file part. Like let's say I want to CAD an 18. I'm making a CAD where an 18 tooth gear is needed. So I'll select this over here. Right? It like sends me the specific part. I can I can download the CAD files over here. Right? So there's like different options of the different material, the different diameters, different teeth, number of teeth and things like that. And if I just like, let's say I want this one over here, I can just click download and it'll download it for me. So then I can go into Inventor and then open it up there. Let me see if that works. So I can just open, I just downloaded it, right? So it should be in the downloads. Right there. Oh, can you guys? Okay, here's my screen. Okay, so I opened up the downloaded part over here and I didn't have to CAD this now. So now it's like ready for me to be used in a different assembly. So even though fabrication kids also use these custom parts as like physical, like to actually physically build a robot, we also use these CAD files from Vexpro to like have these standardized parts in our CAD models and things like that. So later on, we'll send you the CAD files where like all of these like VersaFrame electronics, pneumatics, hardware, everything will be included in these CAD files. And all you have to do is like search up their number. Do you guys see that this is like 2175460? So based on the, like, let's say I figure out I want an 18 tooth steels per gear, right? So I see that the number is 2175460. I'll search it up in my CAD file and I can download it and start using it. So you don't have to like create a new gear every time you need one. So there are like suppliers like this that you guys have to like be familiar with. Another one is McMaster-Carr. These are more like industrial parts.
Yeah, so just quickly, you guys aren't expected to know like a lot about all of these. You guys should be familiar with our like different provider names and maybe like what we use them for in general. So just having like some broad knowledge of what's going on.
Yeah, so like for like if you're talking about a test specifically, all you have to know is like there's a supplier called Vex Robotics, and we get specific parts from them. So we'll go through these in detail, right? Just know how this works, like how there's custom parts that we CNC and machine ourselves, and how there's standardized parts that we can buy from suppliers. So for CAD purposes, you would like actually draw out the custom parts and you would download the standard parts, right? So you get these standard parts from Vex Robotics, McMaster-Carr. This is more like industrial. You can search up things that you need. It looks kind of unorganized, but once you like start using it, you'll understand how it works. Another website is like AndyMark. We use it a little less often, but this is also goes in like industrial parts and things like that. Yeah, I think that's all I want to cover today. We'll start with the actual CADing tomorrow once you guys are actually downloaded. Is there any questions you guys have?
I do want to have like a note though. We're going to make sure to download 2022 when you guys are installing. I think the default, like when you click download, it will be 2022, but just double check because if you have 2021, nothing will sync up with us, and it's going to be probably pretty hard. And then tomorrow we'll probably also get GrabCAD started. Okay. So does anyone have any questions?
Make sure to like note down our email somewhere to just have that with you. So if you guys need help, you are not like by yourselves if you have our contact. And try to get it downloaded by today so we can actually go into more detail. I don't want to like skim over things again before the test. So yeah.
Also, before everyone leaves, do you want to have them fill out like the Google form with all their like information stuff?
Yeah, I can send it to you. Raga, a cool like sent us a QR code scanner. I don't know if they'll be able to do that because they're online. Do you have a link for us?
Let me check really quick. Okay, I posted it in the chat, so that should work.
Yeah, everyone make sure to fill that out.
Can you guys click on the link? I'm actually, for me, like the link is not working.
Oh, for me?
Yeah, for me, it's saying for both Sonnet and Ragas, it's saying that it's not working.
Oh, I was able to access Raga's link fine.
Does anyone else have trouble using Rocket's link? As long as you have it, it's okay, right? But if you guys have trouble, just shout out. Kush is working for you? It is? Okay, yeah, then you guys can fill it out. If it doesn't, just like shout out.
If you like copy paste it, it's working. But if you like just click on the link, it just says validating URL and never loads.
Oh, okay. Wait, is this for rookies specifically or like veterans?
Have everyone fill it out just so that we have everyone from this year, like for attendance and everything.
Yeah, everyone's.
Okay, once you're like filled out the form, you guys are good to go. You guys can stay back if you have any questions. But that's it for today. Make sure to download everything by tomorrow though.
When it asks for your interest in the systems, what if you don't have any interest in the systems?
Can you say that again?
Like it asks for your interest in business systems, but like what if you don't have any interest in business systems?
Yeah, it's actually a required question. Just check something random.
Okay.
Anything that sounds interesting, like out of the options.
Hey, Jude, John too here. I think your mic is causing a lot of feedback. So whenever you're not talking, try to go on mute to see if that helps with the problem.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you guys are good then, as long as you filled out the thing.
Mr. Two.